In the world of football, perfection is a myth, but what if I told you there's a player who was so good that he did the impossible? A player who not only made it in just one competition. Before his perfection, Cristiano Ronaldo faced heavy setbacks. He was bullied by teammates, opponents tried to kick him out of the game, and he lost his father at the age of 20. His life was an absolute rollercoaster. Summer 2003, Cristiano Ronaldo is the hottest prospect in world football bar none. The 18-year-old Portuguese wonder kid left such a big impression after playing against United.
And says we're not going to go leaving here without that boy in the plane.
That Alex Ferguson immediately signed him up for a record fee for a teenager, slapped the number 7 on his back and put him right into the action. Ronaldo got off to a great start. He wasn't always the strong, athletic, goal-scoring demon we know today, but his super quick pace and skill on the ball left veteran players in the dust chasing after him. He showed immense potential, and the fans were delighted to see this young star play. Ronaldo even built up quite the ego. His older teammates grew frustrated when he took too many touches, hogged the ball, or showed off with unnecessary tricks. Gary Neville said he almost gave up on the youngster at one point, and Ryan Giggs even claims they used to kick him in training whenever he started showboating. 4 months after his debut, Premier League defenders had caught on to Ronaldo's tricks. They bullied him off the ball, using their strength to lay into him and shove him all over the pitch. The media started laying into him. They called him a show pony, a selfish player with no end product. Ronaldo faced the toughest challenge he'd ever come across in his life. If he wanted to one day be the best, he'd need to overcome this massive hurdle. There were 2 key areas where the young Ronaldo needed to improve. First and most important was the physical side. As good as he was on the ball, he soon met his match when facing up against these giants. It's one thing dribbling past a midfielder from a mid-table Portuguese team who plays the game the beautiful way like you. It's a whole other when you're up against beasts like Patrick Vieira or Steven Gerrard.
Bonos, who's the best player in the world ever? Me.
Second was his ego. Both pundits and teammates complained that he was far too selfish on the ball, trying to show off and losing possession rather than playing with the rest of the team. Were these fair criticisms? Kind of. While the English media can go overboard, there's no denying that the Premier League style of play was a big shock to Ronaldo's system. His first season ended with 6 goals and 8 assists across 40 games in all competitions. It's not bad for a teenager, but it's nowhere near good enough for Ronaldo. But at the same time, it's not like the Portuguese youngster was the first wonder kid to ever come over to a more challenging league and struggle to make an impact. Kids are meant to be a bit dumb and develop an ego. What matters is what you take away from this period. Many talented kids these days stay arrogant and refuse to work on themselves. Ronaldo was different. He knew he'd struggled in his first season, so he dedicated himself to improving in every way, shape and form. If he would become the best, he knew he had to put in the hours to make it happen. At first, Ronaldo's commitment to his mission started slowly. He gradually changed his lifestyle and habits to improve his physique. He spent more time after training, honing his skills and pushing his body. He also closely monitored his diet to ensure he took in all the necessary nutrients to give his body energy.
I don't know a stronger, more determined, obsessed player that I'd share the changing room with because he was just phenomenal.
In the gym, Ronaldo targeted a few key areas he knew needed developing through resistance training and weightlifting. The most noticeable change was his muscle mass, becoming stronger every day. Fans noticed how his shoulders, chest and legs grew more muscular throughout the 2004 to 2005 season. This allowed him to be far more explosive and sturdy on the ball while staying fit and as agile as ever. Alex Ferguson, the legendary manager of Manchester United at the time, fully supported the youngster's development. With a wise, experienced mentor who knew the English game like the back of his hand at his side, Ronaldo slowly but surely grew more and more suited to the Premier League style of play. The 2004 to 2005 season didn't play out much differently to 2003 to 2004 regarding raw stats. In over 50 games, Ronaldo scored 9 and assisted 9. The big difference, though, was his attitude and commitment. Fans gave him massive credit for changing his style and improving the physical side of his game. Sure, pundits still got on his back about the diving, but the improvements were evident. With time, Ronaldo could become an absolute monster. Then, in September 2005, something terrible happened. Ronaldo's father passed away from liver and kidney failure. The death of a parent is something you never quite get over. It affects you for the rest of your life and has massive psychological impacts. Imagine how hard it must be to go through such tragedy at a young age, especially considering Ronaldo's complicated relationship with his father and the weight of the footballing world resting on his shoulders. To cope with the loss, Ronaldo poured himself into football. He came back to the training centre with deep psychological scars. His teammates and coaches offered support, but only training on the pitch and in the gym provided any comfort. Ronaldo kicked his new regiment into overdrive, refining his body and free kick techniques for countless hours. The youngster finally broke the double-digit goal scoring in the 2005 to 2006 season. He scored 12 and assisted 8 across 47 games. Was he at the very top of his game? No, he had a lot of work to do. But considering Ronaldo's huge personal challenges that season, it was a miracle in and of itself that he stayed on track. Remember Adriano, who played for Inter? The death of his father shattered his career at the very peak of his game. The 2006 to 2007 season was the moment when everything went bang. This was the year when those hours spent in the gym started to pay off big time and the world witnessed the dawn of a football god. Over the summer just after the 2005 to 2006 season, and before the start of the next one, Ronaldo starred in his first World Cup. Portugal did well, progressing into the semi-finals, but were knocked out by France. Controversy stirred during the quarter-finals against England, though. Rooney had stepped on Cavallo's groin during an altercation, and it was Ronaldo who begged the referee to have his Man United compatriot sent off. Rooney saw red, and Ronaldo gave his Portuguese teammates a cheeky wink. The English fans who had stuck around in Munich and the French supporters booed him heavily at the end of the semi-final, especially when he went down on the ground. The incident and its media coverage lit a flame in Ronaldo's belly. He used the criticism as fuel to train harder and longer, becoming an absolute beast of a player over the summer. Not only that, he also continued improving his already stellar finishing and dribbling skills until he became a forward talented enough to make even the veterans of the Premier League quiver. Manchester United won the league that season in no small part due to Ronaldo's brilliance. He racked up a crazy 37 GA, 23 goals and 14 assists across 53 matches. Ronaldo elevated the rest of the team, coming in clutch at key moments, like against United's bitter rivals City in the Manchester derby away from home, scoring a crucial pen to win the game 1-0. Though far more consistent, Ronaldo hadn't lost that flair. He scored a superb free kick against Portsmouth that made goal of the season, smashing it into the back of the net with an unreal curve and speed. The United fans grew to love this dependable, mature, but still just as exciting version of Ronaldo. So what changed most of all this season? Well, Ronaldo was now far more potent, able to stay on the ball despite the beasts trying to shove him off it. His training paid off not just on the pitch, but off it too. Refining his stamina and strength made it easier for him to shrug off injuries. The youngster was made of titanium, never going down no matter how many strikes he took. And finally, perhaps most importantly, Ronaldo found his mojo again. The last couple of seasons had been unbelievably hard on the youngster, and many noticed that the bright talent had lost that something from it all. 2006 to 2007 saw the return of the young player with fire in his heart, ready to take on the league, blow past defenders, and inspire millions to pick up football themselves. It had been a long and challenging road for Ronaldo, but through sheer force of will and a dedication to endless hard work, the skinny, cocky teen had evolved into a strong, powerful and talented young professional. Hard work had made him world class. Ronaldo's training had taken him to a new level. But as he was, the man had his eyes set on an even grander prize. It was time to push forward even further. In history, 2007 to 2008 would be the most legendary season for Ronaldo and United. Most players would have achieved greatness in 2006 to 2007 and called it a day. I'm already world class at 21, they'd say. Why do I need to train like the others? That was pretty much Eden Hazard's attitude towards it. And not without good reason. It's easy to see why these world class youngsters would still take it easy after hitting such a ceiling. But Ronaldo isn't human. He felt it wasn't even close to his maximum potential when he blew the league away. Ronaldo didn't want to reach his ceiling. He aimed to smash right through it.
No, exactly. I think we should stay at the training ground, you know. He said, let's go and having a lunch after training. Go to his house, you know, it was few people on the table. I look at it, it was just some salad, plain white chicken, no juice, just water. So we have a food, quickly a lunch, and after that, he said, let's go in the garden and play two-touch. I said, Cristiano, we just finished. So we go playing two-touch, after that, let's go for a swim. After that, let's have a sauna, jacuzzi. I was like, Cristiano, why we didn't stay at the training ground?
Once again, Ronaldo trained like a madman. The adage goes, practice makes perfect, but in truth, perfect practice makes perfect. He needed a new approach to his training to ensure he got the most out of it. René Meulenstein, one of the new coaches at Man United, played a huge role in shaping Ronaldo's new focus. You only want to score beautiful goals, he told him. To be world class, you must stop focusing on setting pretty goals. You need to be scoring no matter what. Beautiful, ugly, world tap-ins, and everything in between. Meulenstein reviewed his matches and identified 3 key areas where he felt the young Ronaldo could do better. First is your decision making, he said. Focus on just getting the ball into the back of the net. We know you're good, we don't need to see tricks and flicks every game. Make the smart decision before the goal, not the flashy one. Second is your finishing. You've got a great eye for goals, so use every part of your body to put it away. Train your headers, your tap-ins, your volleys, everything. And third, stay strong mentally, not just physically. If you want to go from world class to the very best, you'll need only to accept victory, push yourself to new levels, and never ever crack under pressure, even when you're behind. Imagine telling a player as gifted as Ronaldo where he could improve his style of play. It seems like madness, but Ronaldo didn't see it that way. He listened to Meulenstein's advice without question and immediately worked to improve every aspect his coach highlighted. The results? It is a legendary season unlike any other. Ronaldo smashed records, taking not just his own game but the whole team's to a new level. Just look at the stats, 42 goals in 49 matches, nearly a goal a game. Thanks to Ronaldo's new form, Man United took home the Premier League title and a Champions League trophy at the end of the season. His campaign in Europe blew the world away. Ronaldo scored throughout the tournament, coming in clutch to keep United in the knockout rounds with key goals in the quarter-finals and semi-finals, even dispatching his boyhood club Lisbon in the first round. Take a wild guess as to who gave United an early lead in the final against Chelsea. That's right, Ronaldo. Now, Chelsea were a strong team and didn't go down quickly. Frank Lampard equalised just 20 minutes later and the game went to penalties. We'll have to ignore that Ronaldo also missed his penalty and gave Chelsea the chance to take home the cup. But hey, it's easy to forget that the man was still human. At least now. Luckily for United, John Terry missed, and the rest is history. Looking back on the 2007 to 2008 season, it's hard to argue that this wasn't the peak of Ronaldo's time in England. When he first arrived in the Premier League, the youngster had shown incredible skill on the ball and sharp athleticism, able to score beautiful goals with his fast footwork.
I was very fortunate to sit there and watch him go from a boy to a man, even from just training, affecting training sessions. Like being the match winner in training, like absolutely obsessed with winning a game in training and being the one that scores the last goal. He came as a kid, left as the best player in the world.
Now, he had all that, but was also impossibly strong and lethal in front of goal. If Ronaldo had the ball at his feet, chances were very good it was ending up in the back of the net. He could score with both feet, his head, hell, probably even his eyelashes. A defender knew they were facing off against an unstoppable force when they lined up against him. All this power, and the man had only just turned 23. Through incredibly hard work and patience, the young Ronaldo showed not just his commitment to becoming the very best, but also showed how mature he had become to recognise his weaknesses along the way. This season, he took home a mountain of awards: the FIFA World Player, the Ballon d'Or, the UEFA Club Football Player of the Year, the Premier League Golden Boot, the Premier League Player of the Season, the Champions League Top Scorer, and the European Golden Shoe. It might be hard to pick just one from a whole sea of astounding strikes, but what do you think was Ronaldo's absolute best goal for United? The one that left you thinking, this guy isn't human? Let us know in the comments below. But as elite as Ronaldo was, he was still far from perfect. Likely the best player in the world at the time, with a certain Argentine wonder kid working his way through Barcelona's ranks, Ronaldo knew he needed a new challenge to push himself to the very top of his career. He wanted a move away from Man United. Ferguson stepped in. The Scottish manager knew that a player like Ronaldo comes only once in a lifetime, if even once in all of human history. Ferguson knew the star would eventually move on, but he used his charms to convince Ronaldo to stay on for just one more season. United was on the verge of winning a historic third consecutive league title, and a player of his calibre would be just what they needed to seal the deal. Ferguson's gamble paid off. Man United won their 11th league title and made English history by becoming the very first to win 3 Premier League titles on the trot, a feat that would only be broken by their noisy neighbours a decade and a half later. Ronaldo played a key role in the campaign, scoring 26 goals across all competitions. That number's a step down from the ludicrously high 42 of the previous season, but that's still a perfect tally for a forward. It's just that Ronaldo had set his bar so high, when he missed it, he'd still performed to a world-class level. Despite all the joy the United fans were experiencing from their incredible title win, a dark cloud loomed overhead. The day they'd all been dreading had finally come. Ronaldo left England in search of a new adventure. He had joined United as a skinny teen with tons of potential. He left United a footballing legend, the best in the world. But Ronaldo never abandoned his winning mentality, no matter how far up the ladder he climbed. He didn't just want to be a legend, he needed to become a god. Not just the best in the world, but the undisputed greatest of all time. Where else but Real Madrid could such a dream be realised?
1, 2, 3.
2009 marked the beginning of Ronaldo's time in Spain, playing for Los Blancos. Real were quickly losing ground to their arch-rivals Barcelona, who had put together a wonder team able to crush anyone they faced. A historic 2009 treble win was the proof of this dominance. Authentic leadership had planned to take the club back to the top with extremely talented players at the helm. Ronaldo was the first and most crucial part of this plan. The star didn't come cheap. Real had to fork over a record-breaking €94 million to United for Ronaldo. So at the start of the season, the Portuguese superstar was coming from a club that had won a historic three-peat to a club facing off against one that had won a treble only a year ago. United was the undisputed dominant force in the Premier League under the best manager. Real was a different story. Ronaldo was being asked to lift this fallen giant of a club back to its feet and defeat one of the best teams history has ever seen. Imagine facing all that pressure, all while knowing you have the heftiest price tag in footballing history hanging on your back. Real fans, miserable at the time, see you as their only hope to restore eternal glory for their club. This kind of pressure would break them in half for almost anyone who has ever lived. Most people have trouble keeping their heads above water when the work gets busy, but Ronaldo relished it. Undoubtedly, the superstar forward felt the weight of the world's expectations on his back. But if you want to become the greatest of all time, these are the kinds of challenges you must welcome with open arms. Ronaldo had made a promise to himself when his father died. He wasn't about to give up now. So, how did Ronaldo get on in his first season in La Liga? His first season at United had been rough, but that wouldn't be tolerated at Real. He needed to perform right at the start. Ronaldo just laughed, then showed the world the monster he had become. In true superstar fashion, he got off to a flying start in Madrid, banging in goals like it was nothing. Real fans could hardly believe their eyes when they saw this guy barreling down the pitch at top speed, shrug off defenders with immense strength, then leap into the air and smash the ball into the back of the net. He immediately made history by becoming the first Real player to score in all his opening 4 league games. Okay, said Real fans, this guy is massive. It was bliss. Ronaldo scored 6 in the Champions League group stages, putting Real comfortably at the top of their group. By the halfway point of the season, Barcelona and Real were neck and neck, but things turned tragic when, for once, Ronaldo suffered a nasty injury, putting him out for 2 whole months. This setback damaged Real. They not only went out to Lyon in the round of 16 of the Champions League, but they also just fell short of the league title, amassing an impressive 96 points but losing to Barcelona's record-breaking 99. Ronaldo finished his first season in La Liga with 33 goals and 10 assists. World-class numbers, but there was no trophy to show for it. Ronaldo's first season at United was no glim from his first year at Real. At Real, he was an exceptional player, trying his absolute hardest to bring the team up to the level it deserved to be at. Ronaldo led by example, committing himself to training every waking moment, constantly improving his game and physique, even when it seemed he had reached perfection. The 2010 to 2011 season was a repeat of 2009 to 2010, but on steroids. Ronaldo put in an unreal amount of work, pushing himself and the team to the brink. He bagged 53 goals in 54 matches, staying fit throughout the season thanks to his rigorous training regimen and diet. But even this wasn't enough to make a difference for Real, hard as it might be to believe. Many Real players were still finding their footing at the club, including the future star Karim Benzema, who had failed to impress in his first season after an exciting transfer from Lyon. By the end of the campaign, Real had once again finished second behind Barcelona and had been knocked out of the Champions League in the semi-finals by their rivals too. Even though Real did win the Copa del Rey against Barca, a tremendous feat given how incredible that team was at the time, the fans weren't happy. They appreciated Ronaldo's efforts, but the team had to win a significant honour soon. Ronaldo's start to his time at Real Madrid proved 2 things. First, it was going to take more than just talent and hard work to bring the club back to the top of Spanish football. It would take mental resilience. Ronaldo had grown used to winning and hated defeat more than anything, but he learned to show patience and keep his confidence high despite disappointments. He became a master at ignoring external criticism and channeling his frustrations into training, pushing himself harder to ensure he kept shattering records.
We shared this stage 15 years, me and him. I don't know if it's ever happened in football. The same 2 guys in the same stage all the time. So it's not easy, as you know. And of course we have a good relationship. We not had a dinner together yet, but I hope in the future.
You're in Monaco tonight.
Second, Ronaldo realised he faced a massive rival on his path to becoming the best player of all time, Lionel Messi. Messi and Ronaldo aren't just generational players, we will never see something similar again. It's incredible to think then that the two not only played simultaneously, but faced off against each other so many times in Spain. It doesn't take a genius to see that Messi could rival Ronaldo regarding raw talent and potential. He was an absolute monster, an integral part of one of the best teams ever. If Ronaldo was to crown himself the king of football, he knew he'd have to defeat this Argentine wonder. It was easier said than done, but only he had the potential to do it. Who do you think came out on top between the two rivals? With his promise to himself burning in his heart, Ronaldo worked tirelessly, motivated more and more every time he saw a comparison between himself and Messi in the media. He had one goal above all else that, if realised, would make him a football god: Ronaldo needed to train to become a player who never missed a shot. The 2011 to 2012 was finally delivered to Real fans. Ronaldo's countless hours on the training pitch paid off big time as he reached a level only one player has ever reached. All the pieces of the puzzle the Real Madrid leadership had been assembling clicked into place. Mesut Ozil, a midfield maestro who would join the side back in 2010, worked sublimely with Ronaldo, and Benzema came into his own shortly after. Ronaldo had invested significantly into the team and finally saw tangible returns. Sure, he had won many awards and broken records, but the fans still cried out for major trophies, and Ronaldo had poured a lot of energy into bringing this team up to snuff. With his game sharpened to a crazy degree, Ronaldo ended the season with a whopping 60 goals across all competitions, leading Real to an earth-shattering tally of 100 points in La Liga, quickly securing the league title. Salvation at last. At the time, Mourinho, Real's manager, gave the star all the praise he could. There was no denying that Ronaldo had been the catalyst for finally breaking Barcelona's stranglehold on the Spanish league. Not only did he score non-stop, but he also came in clutch for massive games against Atletico, Barca and Sevilla. Still, the Champions League is the most significant honour you can win on the continent, and Real had yet to win the trophy since their resurgence. While the rest of his teammates celebrated their title win, Ronaldo wasted no time returning to the training pitch, eager to cement himself as Mr. Champions League. He also had another, more personal prize on his mind, becoming the all-time top scorer for Real Madrid. Raul still held the record with 323 in 741 games. If Ronaldo wanted to surpass him, he'd have to put up crazy numbers in a very short amount of time. It was time to put the pedal to the metal. Things got off to a rocky start with a very disappointing 2012 to 2013 season. Even though Ronaldo impressed once again with a ludicrous 55-goal season, Real won nothing of note, falling far behind Barca in the league and getting knocked out by Dortmund in Europe. Rather than blame others, Ronaldo buried his frustrations, put his head down and worked even harder. 2013 to 2014 went down in Real's history as one of the greatest seasons ever, as the newly formed BBC trio, a front three made up of Benzema, Bale and CR7, took the world by storm. Under the leadership of Don Carlo Ancelotti, the team focused on aggressive, unrelenting football that left the opposition in the dust, the perfect style for Ronaldo. This approach bore fruit in the Champions League, where Ronaldo set the continent alight by scoring a staggering 17 goals, a record that still stands. He put away 7 goals throughout the knockout rounds campaign, dominating Schalke, Dortmund and even Bayern away at the Allianz Arena. In the final, the man himself scored the penalty in extra time to make it 4-1 to Real against their local rivals Atletico, securing Real's historic 10th Champions League. The La Decima dream had come to be. But Ronaldo's work was far from over. He still had plenty of milestones to reach, honours to win and records to smash. After all, for as good as he wasn't perfect. And nearly perfect is never good enough for a man like Ronaldo. 51 goals in 47 games would be astounding for most. For Ronaldo, it was just another season. The legend was well on his way to becoming a god, as Ancelotti's positive, attacking football gave him the freedom he didn't experience with Mourinho's more defensive-minded setups. Not only that, but his two forward compatriots, Bale and Benzema, also gave him plenty of opportunities to prove himself. While his relationship with Bale was a bit frosty, Ronaldo got along super well with Benzema, and the two became close friends. On the pitch, feelings were forgotten. They were ruthless professionals who had learned to gel together and produce outrageous results. 2014 to 2015 is the proof of this. Ronaldo became more than a goal machine, but a goal factory, scoring 61 in 54, another new record set. This season had plenty of matches where you can look at and see the beautiful results of so many perfect forces coming together. Ancelotti's masterful tactics, the BBC's ferocity and synergy, and Ronaldo's hard work over the years. Against Granada in the latter half of the season, Ronaldo put 5 past the keeper in a 9-1 rampage, showing how he had become the most clinical player in the world. All his shots on target ended up in the back of the net. Sensational stuff, right? He did the same thing only a month later, putting away 3 against Getafe in a 7-3 win. Going into the 2015 to 2016 season, Ronaldo was on the cusp of becoming Real's all-time top scorer. No one could have predicted just a few years back how insane his tallies would be. It was like he was speedrunning to become the club's most prolific goalscorer. Ronaldo would break the record unless he tripped and broke both legs, and even if he did, he'd probably still score a header from his wheelchair. In September 2015, Ronaldo accomplished the goal he'd set out to achieve, surpassing Raul's place as Real's best ever striker. But I don't think he rested on his laurels for the rest of the season. Not at all. In a few days, he put 5 past Espanyol in La Liga, then obliterated Shakhtar with a hat-trick in the Champions League. This was his 3rd and 4th match where all his shots on target became goals. But while Ronaldo shined, Real struggled.
Rafael Benitez had to step aside midway through the season.
Fans worried that whoever replaced him wouldn't give CR7 the freedom he'd enjoyed under Ancelotti. But they needn't have worried. A Real Madrid legend took over after a short period of Rafael Benitez, a man who embodied French class with an unbreakable metal. Zinedine Zidane. Ancelotti had been an essential figure in Ronaldo's development, but perhaps Zidane, of all the managers, understood his burning need for absolute perfection. Zidane gave him the confidence and the space to excel. See this for yourself in Ronaldo's sublime performance against Wolfsburg, where he put away a Champions League hat-trick, another game where all his shots on target became goals. The new manager's impeccable man management led Real Madrid to another Champions League win, with Ronaldo the talisman leader. Every goal scored, every trophy won was another step on the path to eternal glory for Ronaldo, and another dig at his arch-rival Messi in their race to the top. The final 2 seasons at Madrid cemented Ronaldo's legacy forever. 2016 to 2017 ended with a La Liga and Champions League double for the club, mainly due to Ronaldo's godlike efforts. The recent victories and new man management style shaped him into a potent leader who led by example. Was it any surprise that more and more youngsters in the academies started citing him as their biggest inspiration for getting into football? Ronaldo had started his career at Real with a bang and intended to end it with one too. He gave the fans the best farewell they could hope for, handing them 3 consecutive Champions League wins, all while dazzling the world with back-to-back hat-tricks in the knockout rounds. The first against Bayern, then against the hated Atletico in the following round, becoming the first player in Champions League history to do so. At this point, there was only one Mr. Champions League. Ronaldo had proven that Europe was his playground and could beat any team that stood before him without fear. With his alien-like ability to always get the ball over the line from any shot he took, he left Real in 2018 as not just a legend, not even a god, but an otherworldly figure, a player who physically couldn't miss a shot. And to top it all off, Ronaldo continued his streak at Juventus in the second leg of the round of 16 against Atletico. Atletico had gone 2-0 up on aggregate at home in the first leg and gave Ronaldo all kinds of flack during the second leg away. They berated him with countless insults and jeers for all the terror he'd inflicted on them during his time at Real. It's never a good idea to poke the bear, especially not a bear with a proven track record of demolishing your team in the Champions League. Ronaldo took it upon himself to show the Atletico fans who the boss was. He scored not 1, not 2, but 3 goals against his former rivals. Another Champions League hat-trick to add to the long list. The game ended 3-0 to Juve, 3-2 on aggregate. This was Ronaldo's 9th game in his career in which he couldn't miss a shot. The Atletico fans left the ground quiet and humbled. Remember, when you come to the king who never misses, it is best not to forget yourself.
What's the biggest key to your personal success?
It's hard. Of course, talent without work is nothing.
If you followed Ronaldo's story and thought to yourself, wow, this guy was a born world-class player with exceptional talent, You've missed the point. When Ronaldo first started his professional career in Lisbon, people knew he would be great. There was no doubt about that. But great players are born every other day. What sets Ronaldo apart from the rest is his ability to push himself further than most people could even dream of. He realised at a young age that people aren't born legends, they have to earn their fame. Ronaldo's story is one of glory and success, but behind it all is a story of immense hard work, perseverance, and a rock-solid mentality that never accepts defeat. Ronaldo managed to keep his confidence high despite his setbacks, shrugged off criticism like it was nothing, trained harder than any other player had ever trained before, adapted to new managers quickly and efficiently, and never gave up hope that he would one day become the greatest of all time.
Because everyone wants to be Cristiano, but I give you the map. You think you will do it that? It's difficult. It's
the discipline.
The discipline is the most difficult thing, not only in the sports, but in the life.
Ronaldo now sits at the very top of football, far above other world-class players throughout history. Only one man stands shoulder to shoulder with him. If you want to follow the story of the misunderstood superstar player, check out our video here.